Hello, everyone. We made it.
We're married.
Made it through the finish line.
We're married.
We're married. Didn't think we'd finally be here. So much anticipation up to the day of the ceremony.
You didn't think we'd finally be here?
Just because it's like one of those things that you anticipate so much for, so much planning, so much talking about it. And then the thing actually happened.
Yeah.
You almost feel like this thing's not going to happen. We're just going to keep talking about it. We're just going to keep anticipating for it.
Yeah.
And it happens. It feels like it was a dream.
It does feel like it was a dream.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful.
So beautiful.
You want to start from the top, babe? I feel like you've told this story more than I have, and therefore I'm more skilled at telling this story.
You said you felt you're more skilled at telling this story?
I feel like you're more skilled at it because I've heard you tell it more times than I've had to tell it yet.
I don't think that's true, but I mean,
what happened on our wedding day? Give them a little recap.
On our wedding day, Saturday, October 9th, right? Correct. Good so far, right on the date. October 9th, Saturday. Family, my family, Erin's family. We had a photographer and videographer, Tor and Ramel, who were there as well. Shout out to you guys if you guys are watching this. Thank you guys for being there, for loving us. And then Chris and his wife, Kate, were there. Chris is a pastor who pastors with Erin. He officiated our wedding. He's a good friend of mine too. So it was really cool to have him do it for us. And so we're all there in Long Beach, California. And from there, we were taking a ferry to Catalina.
And my family was in an Airbnb overnight and your family was in another Airbnb overnight. So it was kind of cool just to be able to celebrate our last day of being single with our families and then coming together. The families coming together the next day.
Yeah, kind of that last night with families before being married. Your family made some pizza. My family went out for some hibachi, which was good.
What happened on the ferry ride, babe?
So on the ferry ride, before we got there, we had our first look. It was my first time seeing Erin. And she was dressed up. Had her dress on, looking good.
Looking good.
Looking really good.
Looking tasty.
And I don't know. My heart just jumped out my chest when I finally saw her.
Did it really, babe?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd be like, are you making this reaction up?
No.
Or you really feel like that?
No. I was so hyped. I was sweating. I was at the jitters and
you were
butterflies and all this stuff. And so, yeah, it was fine. Good to see you. And then after I finally saw her, that's when we jetted to the ferry to get on the ferry. And when we got on the ferry with both of our families, some of our family members experienced motion sickness, which we could not have planned at all. We were like, what?
I feel like we thought through everything multiple times, but did not anticipate that people would actually get seasick on a ferry ride.
Yeah, people just were not feeling good.
On both sides of our family, several in-laws for me and direct siblings, and your mom wasn't feeling that great.
Wasn't feeling good. Neither was my dad.
I felt bad. I was like, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, we kind of weren't in the best spot on the ferry ride either. We were like
towards the front of the boat,
feeling probably all the bumps and all the stuff.
And the water was a bit more choppy.
Yeah, it was kind of choppy. I feel like the guy was flooring it. He had a wedding that we had to go to, so he was booking it. So he was going fast, and so some motion sickness. But we got through it. Once we got through it, we got onto the island, got onto Catalina. With family, they waited for their cab rides to come to take them to the spot where we were going to get married. The spot in Catalina Island is this park called Buena Vista Point. Really cool, scenic location.
It's basically the top of the island.
Yeah, the top of the island, so really good views. And while the family was waiting for the cab drivers to get that, when Erin and I got off the ferry, we're running to catch a cab to go to our Airbnb, because at our Airbnb is this golf cart. Everyone on the island rides golf carts around. It's a really kind of small island. There's only one side of it that's habited, really. And we've never driven golf carts before.
I mean, I've driven in a golf cart and I've driven a golf cart, but I've never been one to actually turn it on.
Oh,
so I don't know how to
that
work it.
That would have been nice to know. I didn't know you had some.
Babe, it wouldn't have been helpful. It wouldn't have been helpful. I didn't know. I wouldn't have known how to do it.
Anyway, we got some help.
Yeah.
Because I and Erin were both in our wedding attire. I was in my suit. She was in her dress. Erin had gotten us these little like clear poncho type of things that we kind of put over
I didn't want to risk us getting dirty at all.
Yeah,
and
it was helpful.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was pretty helpful. I think people kind of that's smart.
This whole time, babe, even days before, I could always just feel myself getting really silent and then focus on the next thing.
Oh, yeah,
because I can't miss the ferry. I can't miss the cab ride. I have to get to the golf cart. We have to get back to our family. And I can't
when you're like
conversate about anything else.
Not stressed out. Maybe you do it when you're stressed out too, but not stressed out, but more when you're just in like game mode or like this thing has to get done. You just like zero in and just focus on the next thing. Like, all right, we got to do this. 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 And so we're like catching over the Airbnb golf cart. She's like, we got to do this. I don't know. We got to figure it out. I don't know what's going to happen. We got to figure it out. And
go ahead.
We are in the golf cart. There's some people there who kind of see that we don't know what we're doing.
And they're this white old couple that's just like, y'all need a hand with starting the golf cart? You look like you don't know what you're doing.
Which we didn't. And so
I've never been more endeared to older white people than in that moment. I'm like, thank you for caring for us.
And she had a good eye. She was like, oh, they're gonna need some help.
Yeah.
And so they showed us how to put in a reverse, this little lever thing on the bottom of it, and then showed that the key needed to be flat side up to move the golf cart. And so we turned it on, had to give it a bit of gas, had to like really press down on the gas to get it going. I was kind of like, does this thing have gas in it? I was a little nervous on that, but I was like, all right, we'll see what happens. And so get there, I got Erin, a new phone for a wedding gift, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But
I've had the same phone for 5 years.
Yeah, she needed a new one.
It was time, and I was really excited to have this phone.
Yeah, you definitely needed a new one.
Yeah. I tried transferring everything the night before. It didn't work. What I didn't realize is once I took the SIM card out of the new phone and put it back into my old phone, it wasn't registering the device anymore. So then I couldn't make any calls. I couldn't send any text messages. It's my wedding day. I'm like, I don't really need my phone, but that's kind of frustrating that my phone's not working because I can't communicate with anybody. And we just all need to be on the same page. So anyways,
phone not working.
In the golf cart, I gave Kendall the heads up, like, hey, my phone's not working, so we'll have to use yours to get directions once we have the golf cart, to get directions from that place, our Airbnb, all the way to the other side of the island where our family is for the ceremony. And so we're in the golf cart. We got it running. We're headed out. I look at Kendall's phone and it has 3%.
I tell you before, though, I was like, my phone's about to be dead.
You didn't say that.
Yeah, I did. Because you were like, your phone's not working. I was like, my phone's about to be dead.
Babe, I did not hear that, or you did not say it. I'm kind of confident you did not say it.
I definitely said it. Because I was like, this phone is about dead. And I gave it to you. And then you're like,
oh, in the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, babe. I thought you meant like you told it to me on the ferry.
No.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I was like, bro, how are we supposed to get to where we need to go on 3% battery? Like, what? But yeah, in that moment, obviously, there was nothing we could do about it. So I took a deep breath and I started to try to memorize the directions on the phone, because it was like a 15-20 minute golf cart ride. I was like, okay, names of streets, get here. And I was like, Holy Spirit, you're just going to have to help us get there, because I don't know how we're going to get there. Long story short, 10 minutes in, we're still 10 minutes away from the ceremony and the phone dies. And I'm like, gosh. And then we come to that fork in the road. Remember, it was either turn right or turn left. So we turn left and we're going down that road for like 5 minutes. And my gut's like, I don't feel like
minutes.
I feel like it was 5 minutes.
It felt like
5 minutes. And I was like, I don't know, babe. I feel like this is not the right area, the right space, or whatever.
Well, it definitely wasn't. We were like,
there was like nothing. I was like, this doesn't look right at all.
Yeah, it was like some sewer systems.
So then we turn the other way and we start going up this more scenic route. I'm like, I don't know, babe. I feel like this is probably the right direction, the right way to go. And then we started stopping by people and asking for help. Do you remember the people that tried to help us?
Yeah, I mean, so it would have been better if they were islanders, but they weren't islanders. A lot of the people were asked, they were fellow tourists. Didn't really know the spot we were talking about, and so we're asking different people. I don't really remember them specifically. I remember though that it was like a mixed bag of some people who were kind of like, man, best of wishes. There were some people who didn't even speak English and were trying to like, they used someone else to like help communicate what we were saying. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And it was just like, we struck out. Cause you know, when you like lost and stuff, you like asking people and people will help, but we struck out a few times.
You're at the mercy of how people feel in that moment. Do I really want to help you? Or I'm sorry, but congratulations. I'm like, you don't get it. We're going to be late for our own ceremony.
Yeah, like what we needed was just like someone's cell phone, someone to Google Maps where it was at for us, but I don't think.
And we eventually found it.
Yeah, we eventually found it.
Yeah.
I don't think that hit people at first. Yeah. But we're driving. I feel like we're around the spot. And then I'm like, well, maybe let me park somewhere. And there's like nowhere to park. There was just a street. And so I'm like, maybe think about parking. And Erin's like, I'm gonna go out and check. I'm like, cool. And then she's like calling her sister.
Yeah. So this one lady we were at Buena Vista Point. But all the YouTube videos I had researched about where we wanted the ceremony, it looked and appeared that it was behind these steps, which was locked by a gate. And I was like, oh no, I didn't plan for it to be locked away. Like, where's our family? We have no phones. I don't know where they are. So this lady was kind enough to let me use her phone. So I call my sister. I'm like, Erica, I don't know where you guys are. I'm like freaking out because the time's running out. We only have a certain time frame to keep the sun up, and we have to be at dinner in an hour and a half. So all these other things. And then finally my sister's like, no, you're right there. If you see an American flag, that's the top of the mountain. You're right there. I'm like, oh, perfect. She's like, it's not where you think it is. And I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. And then I gave the phone back to the lady. And then I hear Erica saying, Erin! And I'm like, screaming her name. Like screaming my name. And all growing up, I hated when any of my siblings would yell my name because I just hate my name being yelled. But that was the sweetest sound of my name being yelled ever in my life, was Erica yelling my name. And I was like, thank God. Thank God. It's like, we made it. It was the Lord's grace.
Eric the best. Erica's the best.
She really like came through in so many ways. And I keep thinking about new ways that she came through for us as like a gift as we reflect on the day. But so then we finally get there and take it away.
Yeah, Erin's like, put it in park. Just put it in park. I'm like, I don't know if we can leave it here. She's like,
I don't care.
Put it in park. We're going. And so we parked the golf cart on the street, and we go to our ceremony spot.
It was beautiful.
It was so beautiful.
By the time we got there, the family had it all set up. We had created this arch backdrop.
I had it all set up.
We were overlooking the ocean. We're at the top of the island, so you can see the island where all the people are, all the houses are on one side. The other side is a beautiful scenic view of the ocean and what they call Lover's Cove, which is where snorkeling takes place. And there's a lot of locks actually down there with people's initials on them.
And that's where we got married. That ceremony spot was in front of the ocean side. And so it was this beautiful ocean in the background of where we got married.
So it was just beautiful. Once we got there, I was like, I could take a deep breath, and we took family photos, and Chris did the ceremony, and it was all
super
lovely.
Sweet, super awesome. It was fun too before the ceremony, taking family photos with family, siblings, and all that was so much fun. It was good. So happy that we have those. But after that, we did some more photos with our photographer Tor, and then the family, my family, our family, and our officiant Chris, they went down to a restaurant called Steve's Steakhouse. Is that right? Steve's Steakhouse. Yeah. And that was the place that Erica and you had reserved. I don't know. Was it your mom who reserved it?
Oh, my sister reserved it on behalf of my parents because they wanted to pay for it. So
they wanted to bless us and pay for that meal.
And so we were supposed to have a private room, but there was also a marathon happening on the island that same day at the same time of our ceremony, believe it or not. And so it was booked. And so they wound up providing just a really long table for us, which was also really cool because in the private room, they had the tables kind of spread out because it wasn't a huge room, but in the actual restaurant part we were able to all sit at the same table, which is significant because at Neighborhood Ministries and at Kaleo we value the table and eating together. So it was a symbol of that for me. I think I was like, wow, this is so cool, we get to sit at the same table.
No, it was beautiful sitting at the table once we finally got there. Seeing everyone together, it was a beautiful moment of seeing both our families interacting, and seeing different people, our friends that we brought, Tor and Ramel, interacting to with family was a really sweet thing. And then we ordered our food. I got the steak and lobster. Once we got there, I had to get the most expensive and fanciest thing on the menu.
You knew you wanted steak and lobster like months ago. You're like, oh, I'm getting steak and lobster.
I've never gotten steck and lobster before. That was a thing growing up. I was like, oh, we can't get that. But then actually, I'm like, I'm getting it. It's my wedding day. I'm getting it. And so we got it and got the filet mignon steak, of course, which is what you got. You got the filet mignon.
Yeah, I got that. I got it a little bit too well done, but it was still good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, mine was perfect. You ate off of mine a little bit.
Yeah, his was more moist. Yeah.
But after that moment, everyone eating, and again, it's a high-end place, really cool spot in Catalina. And so it had like fancy swordfish some people got.
Like ahi fish salad.
Yeah, ahi fish salad. They had like a catch of the day. I think your dad got something like the catch of the day fish, which was really good. Halibut.
Shrimp.
Was it halibut? I think he got. Just for super fancy high-end place.
Yeah. And then at the end of the dinner, this was kind of cool. So my dad goes to try to pay for the meal, and Kendall's dad jumps in and is like, we want to help contribute. And then they're kind of going back and forth for a few seconds on, oh man, it's all right. No, man, it's okay. I don't know if you saw that part. No. And right when they were trying to pay for the bill, the waiter comes up with a receipt in hand, which is a long receipt because there's literally 20 of us eating the most expensive items on this menu. And he says, I was told to tell you there's an anonymous person here that's eating here. And they wanted to remain anonymous, but this person said that they were captured by your love and they wanted to pay for you guys' meal.
So cool.
And literally, as he said that, my dad's jaw dropped. He was like, what? And then I'm looking at everybody like what's going on? Happened?
Yeah, like what's going on?
Wait, and then we're like, wait, say it again? Like what? And he just said it again. He said they wanted to remain anonymous, and they said that they were captured by your love and wanted to pay for you guys' meal. And I was like,
the whole table.
What? And it's like at least $1,000 for all those like plates. And this is something I want to share at Kaleo because I'm supposed to be speaking on Sunday. But I'm so intrigued by the language that he chose to use in that moment, that he was captured by our love, which means that he was witnessing something that moved him or her to participate by sharing what they had with us, because they were witnessing us sharing a meal together, but also sharing love with one another.
Which is exactly, I feel like, even what you guys do, those of you who support us, right? That's you guys participating in the work that we're doing and loving us too by your generosity and sharing your resources.
Absolutely. So it's just, I mean, the end of the night, we're all like blown away by that. And then we walk our family back to the pier because the last ferry of the night was at 7:45 p.m. and they needed to make that ferry. Otherwise they'd be stuck on the island. And so we walked them to the ferry.
Yeah, it's kind of cold out.
Yeah, it was a little chilly. And
trying to get them there on time.
I remember one in particular moment, I was just like, just taking it in. I think we both were taking it in different ways because that last walk with family symbolized a lot. And in one moment, I was holding your hand on my left and my dad's hand on my right. But for me, it was symbolic because I left my dad and I went back to the Airbnb with you in hand. So it's like symbolizing like letting go and holding on to something new, you know?
I mean, that's where I probably got most emotional
You did. I've never seen you cry like that.
was that kind of the meaning and then the action behind all of it of seeing family leave and go off onto the boat. Well, now it's just us. I mean, it was literally their backs are turned to us and walking away. Well, then it's just us.
Yeah,
it's just us two. And so it's kind of at that moment of that kind of the scripture, right? If you leave your mother and father's home and cling to your spouse. And so I think everything kind of hit at that moment more than everyone was like, yeesh, us now. That's creating our family vision, future, all that stuff.
Yeah. And it was just, I felt like the whole day was a dream. You know, that night even, we're just taking in everything. We got to spend, so we stayed at Hamilton Cove, which is supposed to be one of the nicest areas on the island. If you ever want to go there, it's an Airbnb property.
Really dope.
And it was beautiful. So we spent 3 days there and then left from there to Cancun. And while we were in Catalina, we did parasailing and we did jet skiing, and that was fun. And the water was freezing cold.
Hold on now. Are you giving the whole honeymoon experience? I thought you were just giving a little sneak peek ceremony.
Just a little highlights.
I thought you were just giving a little sneak peek.
Why do you want to do a little sneak peek? You don't want to give the whole...
You can if you want.
Who else is going to hear it but them? Who else should hear it but them?
I guess that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
I'll just give highlights of Cancun, like the excursions we did. Okay?
There you go.
All right.
Go for it.
Anyways,
I'm down for that.
So then in Cancun, my parents, above and beyond, blessed us with this trip that we felt like kings and queens there. Like I was not expecting all of that.
We had a butler.
It was above. We
had like a whole suite. There was a living room.
Oh my gosh.
There was 2 full bathrooms, 2 shower heads, and
a
1
walk
shower.
around balcony, ocean
the
view.
patio was walk around.
Beautiful.
We got to see both sides of the ocean because Cancun, right, is on a peninsula. So we saw both sides of the ocean.
It was really beautiful.
Yeah,
and
the whole thing.
In Cancun, we did snorkeling, which was so fun. And that wound up being more of a experience than we expected. I literally thought we were just going to get on a boat, go snorkeling, and then head back. But it wound up being like lunch provided. And
it was this Mayan, indigenous people in that part of Cancun.
A little bit of
like
history.
Little Mayan history and show and dance they did for us. And then, we got to ride these little boats.
These elite boats.
Yeah, these little elite, small, speed kind of dinky boats that we were like riding around.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. And we rode those to our snorkeling spot. It was my first time snorkeling, so I was struggling a little bit. But we made it happen.
Yeah, it was a fun time. So we just wanted to share just everything about wedding and honeymoon with you guys and let you know that we did it. We got married, and we thank you guys for just being in our lives and a part of our story. And we love you guys. We really appreciate all that you've done to just participate and share with us in this story that's being written.
Thank you. It's part of you guys' belief in both Erin and I that allow us to do our callings, right? And what we're both wanting to do, which is all bleeds into us coming together, right? You going being at Kaleo, being at Neighborhood is part of the story of us. Yeah. And so thank you guys for giving and allowing us to live in our callings, to what we believe God's asking us to do. Yeah. We believe we're better because of it.
Yeah. So babe, why don't you give them a little update as to what's happening lately at Neighborhood?
Yeah, update at Neighborhood. So got back. Everyone was so happy for us at Neighborhood. It was overwhelming love. So much love. That I think Erin and I both experienced from the people at Neighborhood, which has been such a blessing and such a joy. I mean, they really let us know, like, hey, we as a community, we're behind your marriage. We want to be there with you guys and for you guys throughout different things. And so we definitely feel supported in that space at Neighborhood. And so I feel really blessed being there. And so coming back, kind of playing catch up. This is the first week of us making this video right now. The first week kind of being back at work. And so playing a little catch up and getting everything ready of like, okay, what's going on how are we going to finish the end of the year? Because we're kind of at a halfway spot right now with our Wednesday night gatherings and all the programs we do at Neighborhoods Youth Center. And so we have Day of the Dead, which is a holiday celebrated by a lot of different Latino heritage. And in Mexico specifically, they call it Day of the Dead, where they honor and kind of celebrate the lives of people who have died and gone before them. And so we're kind of doing our own spin of that called Day of Remembrance on November 3rd, which will be a Wednesday night, where the church at Neighborhood and then the youth at Neighborhood too on Wednesday nights are all coming together to kind of celebrate and remember the people in our lives who have passed, died, have gone before us. And we're going to make a whole kind of service out of it. And
that's
so
super cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that we're doing to get ready for that, and a lot of participation, the kids. And there's a lot of like artwork that goes into it. There's a whole table that needs to be made, different boxes, and so all of the youth at Neighborhood are kind of going to participate in all of that, and so we're excited for that. That's kind of one big project, other than typical meeting together every Wednesday, loving on each other.
I feel like even though we were gone for a little bit and just came back, I feel like you're getting a handle on Wednesday nights a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, slowly but surely, I'm still always asking God on how to best use that time in ministering to people. And so, I think being gone, right, and leaving somewhere makes you have to really create a strategic plan for you being gone, right? The whole thing can't depend on me.
Yeah.
So even before leaving, it's like, all right, I got to create a really good system for van drivers, for food and all this stuff. And so it's cool to get in that rhythm. And I think we're hitting our stride there, myself and the volunteers and everyone else who's helping out with that, which is Erin. Erin will help van drive on some of those Wednesdays. And so, those have been awesome. There's so much stuff we have going on at the center. I mean, every night of the week, there's something going on. And so I can probably spend hours talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, even that, it's helping me understand. I mean, I kind of knew what you were doing before we got married, but now that we are married and this is our first week living together in our home and your like work rhythm. So it's like Monday nights is kids club. Tuesday nights is a meeting sometimes.
Yeah, Tuesdays are like all day meetings.
Yeah, all day meetings. Wednesday nights is your Wednesday night youth program. Thursday nights,
a little bit more chillax. Thursday nights a little bit more chillax. Thursday morning I have seminary.
So then to go, he usually gets home around like 10-ish on Wednesday nights and then has to be at seminary by 6 in the morning. So I'm like, that's
6 a.m.
crazy.
to 9 a.m.
And then
fully attentive 3 hours in the morning.
And then Fridays, there's like rhythms of once a month things that you have to do, or you're filling in for somebody or opening up a building or space for a class or something like that.
Fridays sometimes like our free nights where we may do different events, right? So we have the college night that's happening this Friday. And so that's going to be a time for college students to hang out. Or we had like robotics club for the kids too on Fridays. And so myself and the two other people who work at the center, Tanya and Alfonso, we all kind of rotate different times and days when someone needs to be there on staff at the center. And so that makes just something else on the plate.
Yeah. So just kind of finding our rhythm and what that looks like together, and gives me a perspective on his workload a little bit more. So
how about you and Kaleo?
Me and Kaleo. Biggest update at Kaleo. If you're at all close to the community of Kaleo, you would have heard this already, but Chase Brown, one of the 3 pastors that serve at Kaleo, is actually moving back to Texas to become a teaching pastor at his dad's church with a succession plan in place over the next 5 to 7 years, meaning that he would take over his dad's church at the appropriate time. And he is also expecting his 4th child. So a big part of that decision for him, I've had a lot of time to process this. let me start off by saying I'm really happy for them. I really do believe he's doing the best thing for
parts of
his
grieving,
family.
though, for sure.
Oh,
I was definitely
absolutely.
grieving some parts of him leaving, but I do think it's best for him and his family.
Yeah. And I will always celebrate and champion people to do what is healthiest and best for them as human beings to function in the world in the best way possible to glorify God and all the things that they need to do. And so, but yeah, having the fourth child, they don't have any family around here. So it's been difficult for them to raise a family with small children. They have 3 already under 7 or something. And then to add a fourth one without any help was really difficult for his wife in particular. And they just talked about it and, like God moved on their hearts and God opened up a door at his dad's church. And it's just something that they're going to do. So they're going to be gone. His last Sunday at Kaleo is November 14th.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah. And then they will be in Phoenix until the end of the year because I think they want to have the baby here because they don't want to find a new doctor and all that, which I totally respect that. Yeah. So just
all the stuff that's on their plate, right?
Yes, selling their house, trying to find out where they're going to live in Texas. So Chase is kind of like saying here, goodbye. But not here, just a little bit out of it, just trying to figure out transition and all that. And so then Chris and I, which I'm excited to continue to pastor with Chris at Kaleo. Chris is awesome, and I'm excited to see what this next iteration of Kaleo looks like in the next several years.
Bringing the table back, eating together more often.
Yeah, so
some of the heart stuff.
I mentioned Kaleo. This. I mentioned this earlier, but I'm speaking this Sunday, and the table comes back this Sunday again. So we've been doing it once a month. And then starting in January, we want to try twice a month. And then depending on where COVID is and how safe things are, if we have any outbreaks or anything like that, then we'll try to get it back every week because it is such a big part of the culture of Kaleo. So that's something I'm really excited about. Yeah. Also, my sister's been getting more involved. She is officially the kids director at Kaleo. She's
so awesome.
She's a pastor as well. Honestly, she really is.
She has a shepherd's heart for sure.
Mm-hmm. So she's really thrilled because she works for Kaleo part-time. So it's kind of cool to be able to work with her and rub shoulders with her and kind of make her dream for what kids programming at a church could be reimagined and look like, especially when it's justice centered and Jesus centered, caring about the margins, which she cares about deeply, and so do we. So it's just cool. I'm excited to see what that looks like over the next several months.
Work with like great friends and family, people like that.
Absolutely. And it's like kind of, if you know a little bit of her story, she would have never thought, anytime we're even talking about Kaleo, she's like, who would have thought, 1, that I would find myself back in a church, 2, and feel safe and want to be there, and 2, that I would be actually like serving, like involved,
just let that speak to the heart of Kaleo.
Yeah.
What you guys are doing.
Yeah. So that excites me. Because that wasn't something I was after, but it's almost like God just put it as a gift. It's like, boom. And your sister's like highly involved, loves what you're doing, and wants to be a part of what's happening at Kaleo. And you guys are going to get to work together, and like that's awesome. So, that's probably another big update. And yeah, that's all we're really focused on right now is like last quarter of the year, holidays. We're going to be doing a little bit of traveling to see his family.
You and Chris planning Kaleo stuff and just the vision and going forward. And all that
so the 28th of November is the first Sunday without Chase, which we start Advent, which is we follow the liturgical calendar. And as this season of Advent will be in the book of Luke, I believe. So just being able to figure out what our rhythms of preaching will be, what the table looks like with that, and pastoring the people of Kaleo, what all of that looks like.
Preaching a little bit more often.
Yeah, I might. I'm like, I told my sister this the other day, like I could actually go without preaching.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I think it's a good skill to have. I think it's something that somebody should be good at. Or not should, but it's good if you're good at it. But it's not something that I get a lot of life out of.
Yeah.
I get a lot of life out of like prepping something that will hopefully bring life into those who hear it, creating an experience for people that hear what I'm saying. And if it makes people feel liberated and encouraged and loved, then I'm all for it. But it's not like, oh, I want to be a preacher and preach from the pulpit every week. Like I don't enjoy that. I really literally enjoy, oh, hey, like I got to know this person, and this person, going to their family's house for dinner, or we're going to go get coffee, or we're going to go hang out, or like planning, like get together.
Yeah.
The relational stuff I could do all day with times of rest, but it's the preaching stuff where I'm like, it could be whatever, So I am interested to see what we do with that, especially Chris and I will obviously rhythmically alternate, but then also we talked about what would it look like to involve more people in the congregation of Kaleo, to speak, or people in the city. Like we had Jimmy Martinez from Neighborhood come speak, and we had Obani Ukuku come speak, and Pastor Sang Hoon come speak, and things like that. What would it look like? People. Like what will we want to do with that third piece, so to speak, and how will we reimagine that? And how can we allow this new space that's open, so to speak, allow for new giftings to emerge out of the life of Kaleo? Because I think when you don't rush to fill something and you give it time and you make it a point of prayer, really powerful, awesome things can emerge from that. And I do believe people like my sister will emerge out of that,
And that sounds healthy. Just listening to the needs of the community, and stewarding those people who call Kaleo home well, and just listening. Like, what is it that they need right now?
Absolutely.
Time?
And it gives us
that's a healthy thing.
Yeah. Sorry, babe. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Go for it.
I was just going to say, I'm also interested, like, we're both excited because one of Chase's major roles was overseeing budget when it comes to fundraising, what we're spending, and kind of keeping that underway. Again, even with fundraising, just to be fully transparent, because I know a lot of you guys are generous and support me. So what that looks like practically is a lot of the fundraising that Chris and Chase have done as individuals, they were heavily supported by the churches they came from, and also did fundraising on top of that. They shared those funds with me and are still sharing those funds with me as I continue to fundraise on my own. And with my goal of raising $60,000 per year for 3 years, which is $180,000. And I have to recalculate, but the last time I checked, I'm at like 71,000, which is awesome. And I'm super grateful that God has just provided like that. And you guys have participated and are helping me with that. But as with Chase transitioning off, we have to reimagine our fundraising efforts and also figure out, okay, what do we do with the finances that we have in hand right now? And how do we steward that really well? And how do we also get creative in how we fundraise collectively together? So those are things that we're thinking about as well. And I'm trusting that the Lord will continue to provide as we do what He has asked us to do. You know, it's just kind of cool though. I guess I thought I would marry a pastor, but I kind of gave up that idea. But it's really cool now being married to you, that we both get to pastor in different ways, and that we both appreciate and value the spaces that we both occupy.
Yeah. I mean, I think the spaces we occupy have a similar heart and similar culture, which if it didn't, it'd make things a lot more harder.
Yeah.
But
cool.
Yeah. But like you were saying, not much else going on. Traveling to Iowa to see family
for Thanksgiving.
And then we're hanging out here for holidays, doing Christmas time
with my family. And then we'll see. We might go back to Iowa for New Year's. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we love you guys. And thanks again for sharing what you have with us and participating in the missional calling that we have on our lives and that we feel like God is calling us to do right now. We do plan on doing more of these in January, outside of just support updates.
Just kind of talking about what's going on, sharing.
Talking about different things. Everything. So I'm really excited about that, and you'll see more of that stuff coming out.
Love you guys.
We love you.
Appreciate you guys so much. Be blessed.
Bye.